tidal waves and earthquakes and fires breaking out and things that I think are kind of instinctively, evolutionarily sort of tied in our imagery to fear. But then for the pandemic, there were also some recurring images for it that I have not seen in any other crises that were kind of specific to the nature of the threat, like invisible monsters. I don't think I'd ever had a PTSD dream with invisible monsters lurking, and that was a common thing that was threatening in the COVID situation, and swarms and swarms of bugs attacking the dreamer, any kind of bugs. It could be cockroaches or flying insects or masses of wriggling worms, but the idea of lots of little tiny things that cumulatively could harm or kill you seemed to make a really good metaphor for the virus that we hadn't seen with any other kind of threat. And then even I think just the word, we use bug as slang for an infection and especially a virus, and yet it also means an insect.
Indeed, it's funny, I just scribbled the word metaphor. I mean, it does tell you a little bit that we can think in metaphor or in poetry, using symbols to represent something else.
Yes, and I think it comes very naturally to the dream state for the reasons we were just talking about, of our secondary visual cortex being even more active than when we're awake, that we tend to, we don't have to sort of make up a metaphor like we might if we were in our awake, logical, verbal state. We would think of something that would make a good metaphor for something, but it's more like that's the way our thinking actually occurs. And I mean, the bug and bug is almost just a sort of a sound association to the word. So yeah, we're thinking in a mode that it's just symbols and imagery.
It also seems, and there are certain happy dreams that people have, but it seems that many of them, maybe even most of them, are about, as I mentioned in my introduction, being chased or being attacked or falling. Is dreaming a kind of problem-solving thing that we do as human beings?
Again, I think it does just a little bit of everything, and maybe a lot of problem solving, or attempting to problem solve. I mean, dreams can really make big breakthroughs in problems that people are stuck on awake, both personal ones, but also even objective, scientific, artistic creation problems. But that's not to say that anytime our dreaming mind focuses on something like that it does succeed and come up with something brilliant. You also see just kind of repetitive, circular. The person is obviously concerned with the same problem they are awake, but they're not always making any more progress at it than they have awake.
And why, when we're adults, let's say we're in our 40s, 50s, 60s, even older, why do we dream about being given a test in school for a subject that we never studied and we forgot to get dressed up for it?
I think that there are definitely some common themes in dreams, and some of them seem to be across all humans. Things about falling and people falling out. I think maybe have some sort of common human meaning. Obviously, an anxiety dream about a test where you sit down and take an exam, that does tend to happen only in westernized cultures where we sit down in school for many years of our early lives, periodically taking these exams, and in a tribe that's still, out there hunting and foraging, the equivalent would be much likelier to be one of these, sort of the first time you have to hunt on your own, or the first time you have to figure out how to gather this or that plant is what authorities are evaluating you on. So I certainly think that the common sense things that most people would think of as a symbol for a test anxiety dream. I mean, we use the word test in many metaphoric ways, that you're being tested, that an authority figure is evaluating you in some way, that